Hi, and welcome to Research 101. In this episode, we'll be discussing the skills and concepts with using and citing information ethically and responsibly. In previous tutorials, we've already covered the topics of asking research questions, types of information, finding information, and evaluating information. In this tutorial, we're going to cover the following topics: the definition of citation, or what is citing and citation, the importance of citation, or why do we cite, plagiarism, or what plagiarism is and how to avoid it, and citation standards and styles, or what to recite and how. So what is citing and citation? Citations are a formal, easy way to identify published or unpublished work that you've referenced and researched for your paper to help support your paper's arguments. Sources you consulted could be anything from books, articles, websites, videos, interviews, etc. Citing a source shows that you're taking words, ideas, and content from somewhere else. A citation usually consists of unique identifying information from the original source, such as the title, author, publication date, page numbers, volume and/or issue numbers, a URL, and so forth. Citations give credit to the author of the original work where you obtained information or ideas for your research. So why do we cite information that we've obtained from somewhere else? First, when you cite others' work, you're demonstrating your academic integrity. It's important to credit original sources of information and acknowledge that you're using or borrowing others' words, ideas, and images to support your argument. Second, you also show you've done your own research about the available information on your topic and that you have carefully selected authoritative and credible sources. You can easily illustrate that other scholars or researchers support your statements. In addition, if you quote and cite statements that oppose your argument, you can prove that you've given thought to both sides of the issue, and you'll sound more compelling as you counter each cited statement. Third, you allow your readers to track down the sources you've used in order for them to learn more about your topic, and give them the opportunity to see if they'd interpret the source in the same or different manner than you have. And lastly, you avoid plagiarism and you show your readers that you're a reputable, responsible scholar. By citing others and developing your own arguments, you're contributing something new, something you can call your own, to the current body of knowledge. But what exactly is plagiarism then? When you use information from other sources for your projects, you must abide by all ethical and legal information use rules. Using other people's words, images, videos, music, and ideas without crediting the original authors is a form of stealing and cheating because you're pretending that someone else's work is your own. Another word for this kind of academic dishonesty is plagiarism. Cal Poly Pomona defines plagiarism as intentionally or knowingly presenting words, ideas, or work of others as one's own work. Plagiarism includes copying homework, lab reports, and computer programs, using a work or portion of a work written or created by another but not crediting the source, using one's own work completed in a previous class for credit in another class without permission, paraphrasing another's work without giving credit, and borrowing or using ideas without giving credit. Sometimes you may not even realize you're committing plagiarism. For example, you may think copying and pasting a single sentence or two doesn't count as plagiarism, or that copying and pasting short passages from a variety of sources instead of taking longer passages isn't plagiarism. However, you're still copying from someone else and passing the work off as your own if you don't cite your source or attribute the work to the original author. Or maybe you think changing some of the words, the word order, or sentence structure of the original source isn't plagiarism. However, again, you're still presenting someone else's ideas as your own if you don't cite your source. Plagiarism is plagiarism, unintentional or not. So remember 2 points. First, it's actually pretty easy to get caught plagiarizing. Your professors can tell the difference between your writing style and the style of the author you copied information from. They can either Google a phrase you used in your paper to find the original source, or they can run the electronic version of your paper through software that detects the likelihood that you plagiarized your paper by comparing it to a repository of archived internet information and marking direct quotes, bad citations, and paraphrased passages. Second, there are serious consequences for failing to cite your sources. The work of others and their ideas are their intellectual property. According to Cal Poly Pomona's Consequences for Academic Dishonesty, stealing others' intellectual property can result in repercussions that are not limited to a 0 on the assignment, an F in the course, academic probation, suspension, or even expulsion. And in the professional world, committing plagiarism can ruin your career, job prospects, and reputation, and can be grounds for legal action. So, it's better overall not to do it. You can easily avoid plagiarism and avoid committing academic fraud by always citing your sources. It's that simple. Now that you know to avoid plagiarism and that you have to cite information that you used from other sources, how do you know exactly what information needs to be cited? The following are examples of when you would cite a source. Quotes taken word for word from any source, including freely available sources such as websites, paraphrases of passages from any source, summaries of work from any source, someone else's ideas and thoughts, including referencing, paraphrasing, or summarizing these ideas, or the use of someone else's classwork or your own previous classwork. The one exception to citing sources is if the information is common knowledge. Common knowledge is factual, widely known information that people would consider true without having to check or look it up, though if they did check, it would be easily verified in many reference sources. Some examples of common knowledge are specific facts and figures, such as capitals of states and countries, like the capital of California is Sacramento, mathematical truisms, like 1 plus 1 is 2, or well-known historical facts, such as the United States entered World War II after the Pearl Harbor bombing. But if you're not sure, you can ask your professor, a librarian, or go ahead and cite it. Now that you know what exactly to cite, how do you use other people's work in your own projects? 3 techniques you can use to incorporate others' work into your own is through quoting, paraphrasing, and summarizing. Quoting is taking the exact words of a passage, putting quotation marks around it, and attributing the quote to the original author. You should provide context for the quotation and explain its significance too. Paraphrasing is interpreting a passage, putting the passage into your own words, and attributing the ideas to the original author. Summarizing is providing a brief explanation of the passage's main points, giving your readers a broad overview of what the passage is about, and attributing the original ideas to the original author. But how do you cite what you've quoted, paraphrased, or summarized? To attribute someone else's work as theirs through citation, you'll probably use a method called inline citation or in-text citation. Depending on the style of citation, these could be parenthetical citations or numbered footnotes, and usually include the author's last name, date of work, or page number the idea appears in their work. This type of citation gives the reader a quick reference to easily see where you obtained your information. Another method to attribute someone else's work is through a bibliography, works cited, or references list at the end of your paper. This document is a comprehensive list of all of the sources you consulted to formulate your ideas and your research. But what citation format should you use? How do you format citations? There are several types of citation styles used in academia. A few examples are APA from the American Psychological Association, MLA from the Modern Language Association, Chicago or Turabian from the Chicago Manual Style, Harvard from the Harvard Referencing System or Author Date Referencing, ACS from the American Chemical Society, CSE from the Council of Science Editors, and IEEE from the Institute for Electrical and Electronics Engineers. Your professor should tell you what style they prefer for your assignments, but if not, ask. But isn't there an easier way to cite all of these sources? There are actually tools out there called citation managers that can help collect and create your citations as you're doing your research. Sometimes they can be called citation tools, reference managers, or bibliographic management tools. With a citation manager, you can potentially store your citation information where you can later organize, tag, full-text search, and analyze the sources you've gathered, format your information in the citation style of your choice, such as APA or MLA, remotely back up your citation library so you can access it from any computer, share your citations through shared folders with individuals or groups like for group projects, cite from within Microsoft Word or within Google Docs, etc., and create annotated bibliographies. Using a citation manager can help save you time and keep your work organized. Be sure, though, to check each citation for correct punctuation and styling to make sure the citation manager captured the correct information for you. In addition to citation managers, many databases also have citation generators that allow you to obtain different styles of citation for the articles you find there. Look for links such as cite, citation, or cite this article to choose a citation based on the format required by your professor. Again, like with citation managers, be sure to check each generated citation for correct formatting, punctuation, and information according to the guidelines of the citation style you want. In conclusion, we learned what citing and citations are, the reasons why we cite, what plagiarism is and how and why to avoid it, and what, when, and how to cite information you've consulted. Learning how to properly cite your sources and staying true to your own research demonstrates your academic honesty and personal accountability, enriches your own scholarship and academic achievements, and upholds the esteemed quality of your degree and education. The following 2 slides cite where the pictures used for this tutorial originated from. Thank you for watching this tutorial and good luck with all of your academic pursuits.